Right, well, she's back with a vengeance. It's Nicole for G4 Claims to tell us all about what the guys over there do. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Good, it's good to see you.
Living the dream, Nicole, living the dream.
Oh, of course, yes. Same here.
Oh, good, man. So you've been busy, then?
Aye, we've been kept.
Your shit small talk, man.
We've been kept going. I think you think I'm a taxi driver.
What time you on it?
Ah, you bastard, that was
What
going to
time
say
you
that.
finish, right? I'm not your taxi driver.
Oh, man. It's because we've done all the small talk now we've started doing the bit, man. It's all fucking gone, man.
I tell you what, Nicole, see if you were a taxi driver and we were in an accident on the way home, what would you do?
Well, immediately I would get you all signed up with G4 Claims.
How can they help us?
And so, G4 Claims is a non-fault accident management company. So why would you contact your own insurance? Why would you risk a mark getting put against your own policy? Whether it's temporary or not, it will affect your policy. Why would you risk having to pay your excess up front and waiting your insurance sending it back? You know, who has 500, £1,000 excess sitting about? Not a lot of people, so you don't want to be doing that. If an accident is not your fault, you want to be using the third-party insurance direct. So that's the person who has caused the accident. It should be their insurance picking up the bill, and we can handle that for you. So we'll provide you a like-for-like replacement hire vehicle whilst your car's off the road. We'll get your car repaired at an approved body shop of your choice, or of your choice if you don't have one. If your car is written off, we will get an independent engineer to value your car so that you're happy with the value and you're not left in any debt or negative equity, and we'll get that recovered from the third-party insurance for you. If you have a sore neck, sore back, any sort of injuries from the accident, we'll get you all signed up for your whiplash claim as well. And everything we do is totally free to go. We bill everything to the at-fault insurance. Also, we'll never waste your time. So if you think that, you know, is an accident my fault, is it not? Phone us in and ask the question. You know, we'll tell you what's right and wrong. We'll guide you in the right direction. Don't think for a minute that because someone at the scene of an accident's told you you're at fault, then you're at fault, because that isn't always the case. So make sure if you're in an accident, phone us first, because if we can help you, we will. G4 Claims, not at fault claims, made easy.
Made easy.
Made easy. Now, let's welcome to Football Daft, a household name of Scottish football. He's played for the likes of Falkirk, Hibs and Rangers, and currently giant killing at Stranraer. It's Darryl Duffy. What's happening, mate?
How are you doing, boys? You all right?
Oh, this is such a catch, man. This is a catch. We're getting
Ah,
a scorer.
the stars have fucking aligned, haven't they?
This us,
The
man.
stars have aligned. What a result last night, my man.
Oh, timing couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been better. Couldn't have picked a better day to get on, to be honest.
And I imagine
For anybody that's not familiar, what's happened is Darryl's only went and put the winner in the pokey against Hamilton Accies last night for Stranraer.
He's just got Brian Rice's jotters last night. He's scored the winning goal, man.
He's ex-assistant manager, man. He's probably right now, time of filming 22. I'd say Brian's got a meeting at 2 o'clock, and I don't know. I don't know how you can love yourself.
It's still fresh.
Darryl, how does it feel to have scored the 10th goal against your ex-manager? The 10th goal this week against your ex-manager. That must be quite a bit of a stinger.
It felt good at the time. But as soon as the final whistle went, it felt dreadful.
Did you just realise, did something click and you went, ah.
Oh, man.
No, that could be like terrible for him, John. It could be like the final nailing his coffin type thing. Now, I actually went up to him. Like, if you see the highlights of your game, I actually went up to him at the end of the game. And like, can I shake his hand, give him a cuddle, and said, "Sorry, Chipper."
Chipper.
Don't worry about it, Duff. Don't worry about it, Duff. Don't worry about it. Away he went. I was like, oh man. So
Away he went, never to be seen again.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, it's a brilliant result for Stranraer. But man, it's always good to hear stories like that in football. It makes it a wee bit more exciting. Good to see the clubs like that play well.
I think somebody said last night it's only the third time in Stranraer's history that we've beat a Premiership team as well. So, magic. Brilliant for us, and brilliant for the club. So,
It's one of
How
the
did they-
one of the biggest results in the club's history. Like, when you look at it like that, it really is. So to
I
score
know.
the winner, what a fucking achievement, man.
I know, mate, and it's my first of the season as well, my first goal of the season as well, first Stranraer,
Brilliant.
competitively. So, so magic, mate, magic.
He's to the
Hopefully we
team.
can kind of keep on.
What was the dressing room like last night before the game? Darryl, what was the team talk like? Because obviously Hamilton just came off the back of an absolute pasting. We just like right in their faces right away, just get right in about them.
Well, it was a bit like, do you know, they'll be wounded at the minute. They'll be hurting. So don't give them anything to kind of G them up and give them a spring in their step. Do you know, kind of get at them, get in amongst them. And if we can get the first goal, then it'll give us a real chance. And you know, that's the way it turned out. We done the dirty side, the basic side of it. Got right in amongst them. Didn't let them settle into their game. Got the first goal, leading at half time, which I think was massive. They got back into it with a set piece, but we didn't let our heads go down, and again we kept at them and got rewarded with the winner. So it was absolutely magic from us, you know, and the boys were absolutely buzzing in the changing room and that after. So that's what you want. Football those that makes you remember.
What was the reaction to the Hamilton players? Did you kind of spy into them arguing with one another, or was it heads down, or was there anything of note?
There was a bit of, you know, we could hear them and sense that they were getting on each other. And one of the boys come off in the second half, and you know, he went straight past the dugout into the stand and stuff like that. So that, you know, we see that as players in the opposite team and use that to our advantage as much as we can. And you know, I think that's what kind of helped us, like, say, dig in and keep going and pushing for the winner against a Premiership side, you know, where I think any other time we'd have probably been quite happy to take it to penalties and try and ride our luck a bit with the penalties and get the extra point that way. But it was a good time for us to be playing them.
You know what? It must feel amazing to be the best Duffy in Scottish football.
I can't get roped into this. It feels brilliant.
Too late, Darryl. It's too late. You're in it.
You see,
I know. I'm a Rangers fan as well, so it's even better.
That's it, like fun, mate.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, just because you mentioned that how good, because obviously we're kind of taking the piss a wee bit with Brian Rice, but me and Bob were always saying, love listening to Brian Rice on the radio and stuff like that. He seems like a really, really good guy, a right old school Fitbit man. What was it like working for him? Where did you play under him?
Falkirk. So right. John Hughes was the manager, Chipper was the assistant, and I absolutely loved it. Loved working with Yogi and Chipper. The two of them are amazing guys, so knowledgeable about football. Their knowledge in football's second to none, and their passion and desire for the game as well is incredible. And absolutely loved. I was there for 18 months with them before I moved, and it was one of probably the best, most enjoyable 18 months of my career.
It's like, we had John Hughes on this show a while ago, and I've heard a few people talking in the media. I don't know if it was Neil McCann talking about him a few weeks ago. How does he not got a job in football now, John Hughes? Like, how does he know? Because he is like, everybody here talking about him, they just can't say enough about him.
See what you're saying there, mate? When he was on the show, see his philosophies about football. I was like, how is this guy not got a job? Like you're saying there,
exactly.
Like the way he speaks about football, and he's so passionate, and he's got forward thinking ideas, which a lot of managers now don't have. So it baffles me how he's not in a job.
Aye, totally.
I think that's maybe what kind of goes against him a wee bit in Scottish football, to be honest. He is different, and he does like to play a certain way, which isn't maybe typically Scottish. So I think that's maybe what kind of holds him back almost, which is, it says more about Scottish football than it does about Yogi himself, you know.
Aye, 100%. 100%.
If he was a manager in Spain or Germany or Italy or that, then you know, I think he would be headhunted by top clubs and whatever country he's in.
Because he has got the same philosophies as a lot of the a lot of the really successful managers just now. You
Aye,
know what I mean? So
aye.
you're right, it probably is just the fucking fact that Scotland's a backwater and we're not willing to go forward with the game.
And I
So I
think
was
even
so
when you're
surprised when I went
talking to
into
them,
Falkirk. Do you know, I knew Yogi the player. I didn't know Yogi like the coach.
Aye.
And I went in and he was all about pass. Everything was pass and keep on the deck and don't go direct. And I loved it. Do you know, that's the kind of football that gets the best out of my style as well. So I absolutely loved it.
Aye, because you think, I mean, when you hear him talking and stuff, he's infectious, and it's like, I don't know, he strikes me as the type of manager the players would want to play for him. They'd run through a wall for him. Do you know what I mean? The old classic phrase, man. But I don't get it, man. I mean, he's a character as well. You want characters in the game. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. He's got everything. Do you know, he's got the whole kind of package that you'd want in a football manager.
Definitely, man.
I mean, he says he's not the best in front of the camera and talking and that, but I've seen him so many times, and I think he's a wee bit harsh on himself with that side of it as well.
I agree with you. I thought he came across really well when we had him on the show.
I think he comes across. So
he was brilliant on the show. He was excellent, man.
I'll need to go back. I didn't know he's had them on. I'll need to go back and listen to that. Actually,
it's a great episode, man. He's brilliant. It was one of the ones where we were on for about an hour and a half, and we hadn't even touched.
It felt as if we were on for about half an hour, didn't it?
You got about 10% for his career, probably.
Exactly.
I nearly went out the back for a kickabout after he had me.
But Darryl, you started off at Rangers, obviously, right? How was your time at Rangers when you were there?
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Like, I went in at 16 full time, so straight out of school, in full time. Murray Park wasn't quite ready at that time; they were building it. So I was at Ibrox every day in the away changing room, getting changed and into the minibus and off to training. And then the second year was in Murray Park, and I'd never seen anything like this in my life before. You know, a facility like it with the pitches, the AstroTurf, indoor AstroTurf, the gym, all the facilities under the sun that you could ever need for a football team, and 2 canteens upstairs and just everything. Do you know, it was incredible. So it was growing up. It was some experience growing up in that environment, and with the players that Rangers had at that time as well. Do you know, that was all the Dutch contingent: Van Bronckhorst and Arthur Newman, Michael Moles, Mikel Arteta, Gino Gattuso, Amoruso. Do you know, all the guys?
Is it Advocat as well? That you
Advocat, yeah. Advocat
man.
was there, yeah.
Tell us about him, man.
What was he like?
He was a bit. I think the perspective that people have got for the outside of him is a bit different from what it was like inside.
Aye.
Like, he had this reputation of youth, and being really good with youth, but he segregated first team and youth.
Aye.
Like, he came in and we used to kind of all lunch together. Whenever you were ready for lunch, you'd go up. First team were in there, that was fine. But he segregated it, and you weren't allowed in the dining room if the first team were in. You weren't allowed in the physio room if the first team were in. So he segregated from that kind of side, so you didn't get to mix with them the same unless you were promoted up to train and play with them. But like, as a manager, like, if you're in the first team, you know, he'd have been magic. Did everything for the players, and as long as you worked hard for him and that, you know, he would reward you.
Aye, because he has got the kind of, obviously, the little general and all that, quite strict, quite that. Did you ever see any kind of run-ins you had with any of the players then when you were in there?
I didn't personally, no. I wasn't really up training with the first team when he was there. It was only kind of after he left that I did. So you hear stories about him having run-ins with players, but I never got to experience anything like that myself.
Aye.
So what happens at with Rangers then? How you let go? You pulled in at the end of a contract, or what happens there?
I had 4 years at Rangers, 16 to 20, and by my 4th year, Alex McLeish was the manager, and with all the guys, all the Dutch contingent had left, and Victor Andre Flo had left. and it was kind of guys like Egil Ostenstad, Nuno Capuccio, that were in my final year there. And that was when I felt, right, I've got a chance, I've got a wee opportunity of at least being given an opportunity. There's guys like that who are incredible players in their prime, but were kind of coming to their end. And I was at the stage where I was kind of ready to be playing first team football. I'd been playing reserve football for 3 years, and felt that I wasn't really learning anything more, and never really got the opportunity I was looking for. I made 3 appearances for Rangers first team, and 1 in the League Cup, 1 in the league, and luckily enough 1 in the Champions League. But I mean, they were all like 10, 12, 15 minutes at most. So it was difficult to, in that amount of time, to kind of show what you were capable of. And by the end of that season, I was determined to leave and try and get first team football somewhere.
So obviously, Darryl, you're a Rangers fan. So how hard a decision? Because obviously you want to play football regularly. You see it's not happening at Rangers. You want it to happen at Rangers. So obviously you're a fan and stuff, and it's a big club. But how hard a decision was that for you to go, right, I just need to leave here. I need to get away from here. Must have been difficult as well.
It was difficult. But you know, I just had to put my feelings for the club to aside and just try and think of my own career, because I was 20 at the time. And you know, that's an age where you should really be in a first team and playing games, you know, starting games for the first team. And I just knew that wasn't really going to happen at Rangers. So as soon as I went and met Yogi, and that was it. You know, that was my mind made up for them.
Of course.
Hey, come on! You've played for about how many clubs you played for?
17, 18, something like that.
18. Right, okay. Let me ask you this. What's your favourite footballing memory? When you retire, you've played with all these clubs, but what's the one thing you're going to tell the grandwins when you're young? You know, what's the biggest day, the biggest event?
What are you going to tell your grandmates when you're young, Darryl?
When I'm young? Can I edit that out later?
You said what you got to tell your grandmates when you're young.
Oh fuck! When they're young, you know what I mean. When you're old,
being a Rangers fan, I scored a penalty at Parkhead.
I don't remember that.
That was with Falkirk.
Brilliant.
Fuck, I do remember.
That was with Falkirk. So that was the kind of first big stadium that I'd scored in, big kind of packed stadium that I'd scored. You know, a first team goal in. So that's kind of always one that I'd go back to.
What's it like, man? Right, me and Grado, the biggest crowd I've been in front of is 7,500. Right, what's it like being in front of a packed Celtic Park and scoring a goal? It must be fucking dynamite, man.
It's brilliant, mate. It's so hard to like put into words. Actually, like the kind of feeling you get from it is so hard to explain it. But it's just like pure euphoria. You know, the hairs in the back of your neck stand up when you're walking at the tunnel, and the noise for the crowd. You're walking out in the tunnel, and then you get on the pitch, and for me personally, anyway, it was all blanked out. And then when the ball would go out the park for a throw in, or it would a free kick or something, then you know you'd kind of hear the noise in that again and take it all in again. And the game would start, and you'd be so focused on the game that it would go kind of almost quiet again. And you were just in your own head thinking about the game, and you know, scoring a goal at Parkhead as well. It was to put us 1-0 up at the time too, and you know, scoring a goal there in front of all their fans, and they're giving you absolute pelters. And it was down the Celtic end as well, and obviously in the programme, ex-Rangers forward now playing with Falkirk, you know, so straight away I was getting sticks straight away, whether I was going to be good, shite, did they score, I was going to get pelters anyway. So it's amazing, mate. It's amazing, and it's one thing I think I'll miss, you know, when I do retire and I stop playing football, definitely.
What age are you now, Darryl?
36.
Right.
I have got another 4 or 5 transfers left in me.
Yeah, man.
Fingers crossed, mate. You never know, eh?
You've still hit the juniors fit machine.
I know, mate. I know. That's one thing I've definitely considered. I spoke to a lot of junior clubs this summer,
That's where the money is, my man. That's where the money is.
Wait, was it Buffs one of them?
No.
No?
I live in Largs now, so it's kind of Largs.
Right.
They've been great with me. Like, they've been letting me in doing coaching for my B licence and stuff like that. So
Where are you from?
Glasgow.
How are you in Largs?
My wife's from Largs, and because
Right.
I've had her down in England, down in Wales, over in India, she was like, we're living in Largs, so that I've got my family network running about me when we moved back to Scotland. And I'm like, nah.
Nice place to stay, man, isn't it? Largs is beautiful, isn't it? It is, man. It's interesting, mate, that people, you know, you're playing in what's division are playing? League 2, right?
League 2.
But you know, that players are considering junior football in it because there is money, you know, there's backers running about. It's interesting, isn't it?
I know it is, aye, but for me it's more a travelling thing. It's I roll out of bed and I'm on the training pitch. So we just alluded to there, I'm not getting any younger in football terms, and I was travelling to Stirling and Airdrie, and it was like an hour and 20 minutes one way and stuff like that, and my back was just totally stiffening up as well. So,
and the worst part about that is as well, once you've travelled the 1 hour and 20 minutes, you're in Airdrie.
I know. You're fearing for your life the whole time you're there.
Hey, Darryl, we better ask you about your Falkirk days again, right? Our producer John won't be happy. He's not here today. He'll be gutted. What was the dressing room like? Who was the big jokers and all that in the Falkirk dressing room?
It was brilliant. The changing room was brilliant. You'd all like a lot of kind of older pros. So they'd all the old school banter. You'd like Scotty McKenzie, Fergie the goalie, Neil Scally was a right character. Craig McPherson, left back. Just large on life characters, you know, couldn't get a word in edgeways and training and in the changing room. But good players and good pros as well. So I absolutely loved it. Changing room was brilliant.
That's what I think a lot of that's missing in football now, isn't it? A lot of that characters.
That's why we're so successful, mate, as well.
Aye, definitely.
Plays a massive role. Like if you've got good camaraderie and you're all together in the changing room and on the training pitch, like it just rolls over onto a Saturday, onto the games on Saturdays. So it's massive, mate. It's massive, and I do think it is missed a wee bit. Do you know, I think we need to find a happy medium somewhere between the old drinking culture and today's culture. I think somewhere kind of in the middle is perfect.
Today's culture. Right, we need to find a good balance between the drinking culture and the gear.
That is not the views.
No, absolutely not. Here, but you're talking about on teammates a wee bit that were there for pitching about Russell Latapy, man. I love hearing about Latapy, but so many players come on here and tell us that he is the best player that they've ever played with. And like talking about old school, I mean, apparently we see the same in terms of the amount of, you know, he smoked and did he drink?
Oh,
aye.
Oh, aye.
But he, what was he like to be about? What made him pick? What made him stun out as like the best player you've played with?
Just his ability with the ball. Like I said earlier, you know, like he'd have 2, 3, 4 men round about him, and you would just fire it into him, foot height, shin height, knee height. He'd bring it under control. He'd manipulate it about his feet, use his body, because he wasn't massive. Russ was small. He would just manipulate the ball, and he'd take the piss out of people, to be honest, at times with the ball. And then he would do all of that, and that would be enough for some guys. He would just maybe knock it off to a teammate beside them. But he would do all that, and then he would zing a 30, 40, 50-yard pass right onto somebody's toe, or he would slide a wee through ball, inch perfect, weight perfect through for somebody. You know, he wasn't just content with just keeping it, and he was just incredible. Both feet as well, left, right foot.
I don't even realise. Sometimes I don't think he was appreciated as much as when you look back for the Rangers support. Do you know what I mean, Grado? When he was at Rangers, it's kind of like the guy was a phenomenal talent. Do you know what I mean?
He was lazy, but lazy. Like so, again in Scotland, like oh, he's lazy. Like don't play him. He's no right. He doesn't care. He doesn't try. But that just wasn't his style. He was for the Caribbean. Do you know what I mean? He was so chilled, so relaxed. Nothing fazed him. So
love that, man.
If he could have played with a pair of flip-flops on, he would have, and he would have still been the best player on the pitch. No.
I love that, man. I love that.
How'd you wind up in India?
Oh, Alan Gow.
Oh, really?
Alan Gow.
He's another
Gowser.
one, man.
Gowser.
Falkirk again. Gowser was
Aye.
with me at Falkirk. And I've gone really well with Gowser, and we kept in touch. And he went to India for 6 months. And he came back, and he was playing down in England, same time as me. And whenever we play against each other, he'd be like, "Oh, do you fancy like going to India? Like, I was out there for 6 months, brilliant. Like, go, you'd enjoy it." And I was like, "Nah." And then eventually, kind of got more serious into the chat, and I was like, "So, like, tell me more about it." He's like, "Oh, I went like 6 months, like, stayed in a hotel." And I was like, "Do your missus not go?" He's like, "Aye, my missus was with me." And I was like, "Oh, how did she go?" And he went, "Oh, she hated it. She hated it. That's why I only stayed for 6 months. But you should go."
He's
I know
really
the
selling it to you.
next question that's coming here. The next question off of Grado's lips was, what was the grub like out there?
Tell me. Come on.
Ridiculously hot. Like, I thought I was all right with kind of spicy food here, and I went over there, and oh my god, mate, just other level. It's in everything. It's in everything.
Mate, I know,
Like,
man. I roomed with I tag teamed with a guy called Mahabali Shira, and he was Indian. He would have mega curries for his breakfast. Mega curries.
Aye.
Like potato curry at buffet breakfast and stuff.
I mean, pure built like a brick shit house, but that's what he lived on, was curries.
Like, we thought we'd cracked it when KFC opened in Goa in my second year. We're like, "Ah, yes, KFC, like boneless chicken fillets and Sprite and 7-Up and that, brilliant." And we'd go in, but they rubbed like a spice rub on the chicken before they covered it in the batter.
Even the KFC was hot. Is that right?
Even that, you would eat
I'll be
that.
honest with you, I'm here for
burning
that.
the mouth off you.
That sounds like everything I want to know
They
about.
put masala. They put masala spice in the 7-Up. So drinking
What?
7-Up and it's tasting like masala spice.
Really?
That's a lie. You're talking shite.
I swear to God.
Yes,
I
he's
swear.
telling the truth.
And we used to have to specifically request to not have masala spice in my 7-Up. And they would look at you like you were an alien.
Wow, man. Wow.
I'm shouting in the back here. Here, this
Different
people's
level.
not want any spice in his ginger.
But what was the style of football like then?
A lot more technical and tactical than it is here. Like, I first went over and I tried to play the same way that I played here. 100 mile an hour and lasted about 30 minutes and was nearly dying. Needed oxygen and an ambulance and that to come and get me. Just because of the heat, the humidity. It's just a different, like, I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. So I had to totally slow down, and my first coach over there was like, "Look, you're doing too much running, slow down. When we have the ball, you do your work. And when we don't have the ball, you just stand." He says, "You just stand and you get your breath back." I was like, "Oh, this is magic." Don't need to chase centre-halves and full-backs and drop into deep-line midfielders. No, this is absolutely magic. So, so I loved it. I took to it really well, and that suited me as well, because I was never the most energetic strikers anyway. So,
What?
right up my
How?
alley.
Like, so you're saying that Alan Gow says to you should go to India, right? So, how did it come about? Did the team? Was he working with a team, and then they went, right, we'll go and sign Darryl Duffy? How did the actual transfer and all that come about?
Well, he was still friendly with the agent that took him over there, a guy called Anuj.
Right.
And it was him, he was always on to Gowser. Clubs over there asked for a striker, a midfielder, a defender, whatever. And then Gowser would go back to him with players. And then they went back to him with me, and the club in Goa were desperate to get me over. And usually, like, a player goes on trial with a club.
Aye.
It was the opposite way around. They were like on trial for me. They were bloody doing that. I'd never experienced anything like it before. Like, they were going like above and beyond to try and impress me and to get me to sign. So, so that's how that kind of came about.
4 years you were there as well?
I 3 years in Goa and 1 year in Calcutta.
No way, man.
Wow.
So you must have some pals. Do you know? Do you still talk away to them?
I still keep in touch with a few of them, yeah. A few of them obviously still play as well, so keep in touch and.
Not get any of them over here.
A few of them have asked if they could kind of come over and like train over here, but it's just difficult, and it's expensive as well for them to like get visas and travel over here. It is expensive for them.
Yeah, what's the deal with the money there? I don't want to get personal, but is it good money?
It's good money. It's not life-changing money, but it's good money. It's better than you would get in the lower leagues in Scotland anyway.
Right.
But the lifestyle, like me, my wife, and my kids all went over there, and the lifestyle was incredible, mate. Especially in Goa, like we'd never get anywhere near the lifestyle that we had over there in the UK anywhere.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Darryl, right? But see the money that you're earning over there, does that not allow you to live like an absolute king over there?
Spot on, mate. Spot on. Like we would spend most of our time at a 5-star hotel called the Grand Hyatt in Goa. You should Google it after this, right, and go and look at the place. Like, unbelievable, beautiful. And the four of us would go there. I'd train in the morning. We'd go there at like lunchtime, like 12 o'clock, have a buffet lunch with like steak, lobster, all the seafood and that you could want. £30.
Masala spice by the bucket load. Fortunately, there was no as much spice. We could go up to the chef who was preparing everything fresh and request for no masala spice and stuff. So imagine, it was the equivalent of like £30 for the four of us, and we could go up and have as much food as you wanted. The only thing you paid for was your drinks, your juice. And then after that, you got complimentary use of the swimming pools. And there was like 3 or 4 beautiful swimming pools there, palm trees all around about it and stuff. And that was basically what we did for 3 years.
It looks tremendous, mate. You know, I think you see go on and again up and see these Virgin and BA websites and stuff like that.
Aye.
I know why you were there for so long, but you hear a player's gone abroad, but it's always just usually like a year, half a year. They go to China or somewhere like that, but for 4 years, man, that's really cool, man.
Well, after 6 weeks, I thought I was coming back home straight away, mate. Honestly,
aye.
Like talking about the food, like the first 3 months, I was in the hospital 3 times with like pure agonising stomach pain, and they were saying it was because of the spice and the oils that they use in the food. They're just saying that my stomach wasn't used to it. So I stayed 3 times in the first 3 months in the hospital. They would just give me like fluids and stuff like that to kind of flush out my system.
Aye, that's amazing, man. That's a brilliant experience, but that you always have that you went earlier and done that. Do you know what I mean?
Incredible, mate. Like, let's say from a football and from like a life experience, it's second to none, mate. I couldn't replicate that kind of lifestyle with my family, because my kids were 1 and 3 when we first went over there, so not a chance I would have been able to replicate that kind of lifestyle in Scotland or England. You know, amazing.
What about like in like that the football team, mate? Was there a good night suit in India with your teammates and all that?
They didn't really do that the same. Like, there's no like the same kind of that. There's no the same. There's no pubs for a start. Gambling is illegal in Goa, so they've got like boats out on the water. So it's like casino boats out in the water. So if you wanted to do anything like that, you had to take a boat out, so you weren't actually on mainland. And there was a few kind of clubs, but they were quite far away from the football. Where the football was, so you'd be like maybe an hour and a half drive just to get to places. So, and we never really get that much time to go anyway. The schedule over there is quite hectic with the travelling and stuff. So
if I'm downloading Sky Bet app, I need to go and get a boat to put a coupon on.
No, mate, you get Express VPN.
Close come and take your phone away for you, beat you with a stick.
Getting Laird for putting a Teraraki on at the weekend, man.
So how did you come back to Scotland? Was it St Mirren that signed you, or what? How did you go? Right, enough's enough. I'm out of here.
Kids were getting to both of my kids were getting to primary school age, and my wife was kind of determined to get both of them into primary school and settled and start building up school friendships from primary 1 for my youngest, and my oldest went into primary 3. So that was the main reason. St Mirren and Ayr offered me trials because obviously I'd been in India for 4 years. Nobody knows anything about India or Indian football, so I had to go on trial with St Mirren and Ayr. Again, perfect for travelling. Largs to Paisley, Largs to Ayr, and both of them offered me a deal, and I picked St Mirren for Jack Ross. I'd been teammates with Jacko at Falkirk again. And it felt like a good fit at the time. So that's how St Mirren happened.
He's a good manager, Jack Ross, isn't he? He's a good manager.
His training's really good as well. Really, really modern. Really hard. Like really hard. His training, like physically really hard, but all with the ball. It's all with the ball. You know, you don't ever just run the guts at you with the ball. So it's good. His training's really good.
I could see him being a Celtic manager at some point, Jack Ross.
So could I, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up at a big club in one of the big 2 in Scotland, or even, you know, one of the bigger clubs down south again in a few years' time.
Definitely. Grado's got something funny to say here, man. I can tell by his face. Like,
no, I'm just. Hold on.
He is.
I'm no. What are you trying to say? I'm doing.
You were sitting like that there.
You're ready to say something. He's at that hotel. I mean, you're still when you're at a hotel.
He's booking that hotel and go right now.
Well, I was going to ask.
Was that a free buffet, please?
I'd take that all day long. I was going to ask you the biggest joker you've ever played with. Your biggest, the clown, class clown.
Neil Scally at Falkirk. Like, I've never come across anybody like him.
Right.
He's just full of nonsense all the time. Like, all the time.
He's sitting googling Neil Scally.
Go up, Neil Scally. Hi, mate. Him, man. He's fun, does he?
I car-schooled with him as well, so I couldn't get away from him, man. I couldn't get away from him.
Aye,
man. He was
funny.
He was good. He was good when he was at Queen of the South, man.
He's fucking at it. He's
getting Wikipedia up, isn't he?
I can't believe he's only 5'11", man.
Poker face, Grado.
I can't believe he's only 5'11", man. He's a Capricorn. Did you know that?
Darryl, see when you look back on your career, obviously you're still playing at Stranraer, right? But when you look back, you've been at that many clubs. What was, from like a professional point of view, what's the most prolific and most content you felt in your professional time in football?
Probably the 3 clubs probably that I've been most successful at, and the team's been most successful at. So it'd be Falkirk, Swansea, and then Salgonka in India. And those 3 clubs all had something in common. They all had a good manager who wanted to play football, get the ball on the ground, play, pass and move. Won the league and the cup with Falkirk, won the league at Swansea in League One, and then we won one of the cup competitions with Salgonka in India and Goa as well. And they all had really good footballers, hard-working footballers as well. They didn't just rely on their talent. And then, like I say, we had a good manager on top of that as well, and good camaraderie in the changing room. I don't think it's any coincidence that all 3 of those clubs had all of those things, and I was successful personally and collectively at them all.
Brilliant.
What do you think with Stranraer this season? Do you think you've got a good dressing room there now? Do you think you can go far this season?
We've got a really good dressing room. We've been quite unfortunate with injuries and suspensions, and we've got 2 boys who've been in close contact with the track and trace app, so they're having to isolate for 14 days as a precaution. So we've been quite unlucky, but if we can keep our squad fit for the majority of the season, then we've got a real good chance. As long as we keep doing what we've done the last couple of weeks, you know, we're working hard and we're doing the basics well, and then we've got the quality on top of the basics to cause teams a lot of problems in this league. So I don't see why we can't be aiming for the playoffs this year.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Right, mate. Well, before Grado starts googling more things about Scally and all that, right, mate, I'm going to move on to the 90-second football daft quiz. Every week we put our guests' football knowledge to the test. Are you up for it, Darryl?
Oh, Christ, if I'd known there was going to be a quiz, I could have studied or something or looked at previous ones.
Just do what Grado's doing now. Go and get a computer or laptop or something and start googling shit, right?
Nah, I think you're going with this one.
Aye. So every week on Football Daft, we put our guest football knowledge to the test with a 90-second quiz. John Sutton and Chick Young are joint top with 15. We've got Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley tucked in behind with 14, while the good doctor, Kenny Duker and Kevin Harper are just behind in third place with 13. Other selected scores include Jonathan Watson on 9, Ross McCrory 6, Mick Patterline on 3, and Falkirk manager David McCracken and Andy Little are both at the bottom with 1. Anybody on that list you want to beat, Darryl?
Andy Little and Dave McCracken.
Brilliant, mate, brilliant. Well, producer Ryan, 90 seconds on the clock.
Yep, on you go.
Can't pass.
Can't pass, aye, can't pass. You must give an answer, Darryl, right?
That's my favourite answer. Gone already.
Right, are we ready, producer Ryan?
Yep.
Right, here we go, Darryl. Who will contest the 2020 Scottish Cup final?
Hearts, Celtic.
What team does Scotland international Callum Patterson currently play with?
Cardiff.
What are Cove Rangers' home colours?
Blue and white.
Who are currently bottom of the Scottish Premiership?
Hamilton.
In what year did Aberdeen last win the Scottish Cup?
94.
Which 2 Rangers players breached COVID protocols?
George Edmondson and Jordan Jones.
What is the name of Stenhousemuir Stadium?
Oh, God. Oakview.
Who currently has the better goal difference, Aberdeen or Hibs?
Hibs.
Who did John Hughes manage directly after Falkirk?
Hibs. Wasn't Hibs, but Hibs.
From which club did Rangers sign Leon Balogun?
Brighton.
When you joined Swansea in 2007, what was the reported transfer fee?
200,000.
What was the score the last time Scotland faced Serbia?
Oh dear.
Time.
1-1.
I'll let you answer the question. What you saying, Darryl?
1-1. 1 each. I don't know.
Right. I shouldn't have let you answer the question. Right, here we go.
Just mark that one as wrong then.
How did he do it, Ryan?
He got 7. So you get Celtic and Hearts. Sheffield Wednesday is Callum Patterson's team. Cove Rangers are blue. Hamilton bottom of the league. 1990 it was for Aberdeen, last time they won the Scottish Cup. You got Jones and Edmondson. You got Oakview, which I don't think you thought you got.
Wow.
The Aberdeen, they've got a better goal difference, so you never got that one. You did get Hibs. John Hughes went to Hibs after Falkirk. Leon Balogun played for Wigan, and you got 200 grand for yourself. So not bad.
That's not what you won for getting 7 in the quiz, Darryl.
What? That's a joking.
Piss take.
No, mate, 7's decent. That's good, mate. That's good.
That's good. I know what Barry Ferguson got.
No, Barry Ferguson was tap. He got 12. He was tapping the league for a while, remember? Aye.
Stevie, pure take offence. I know, Barry got 12 for you.
Darryl, honestly, mate, thanks for giving up your time. We really appreciate it, my man.
No problem, guys. Anytime. It's a
All the
pleasure.
best, pal. Good luck to your
It's easy for you, you stay away. Cheers.
Tell Neil Parry I was asking for him.
All 5'11" of them, I'll tell him.
All the best, mate. Cheers, Darryl. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Cheers.
bye-bye.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.